Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of What's Poppin' Podcast. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Tim.
I hope you guys have been having a good week so far. It's been a while since the last episode, but we've been catching up, watching some stuff, and also, just tuning in with everybody else with WandaVision and that excitement and how that turned out and stuff. So I'm curious to know definitely what Tim's thoughts are, and I think he's been dying to know what my thoughts are, and other people too that have been coming to my live streams. They're like, "Oh, what do you think of it?" I'm just like, "You guys are gonna have to wait."
It was a roller coaster for sure.
It definitely was.
Because it had before we even began to talk about our feelings and stuff, I think we need to address kind of almost like an elephant in the room with the everyone who watched this show, and that is the difference between theorizing and fan expectation and reality, and how that can kind of get off the rails, because I think some people were expecting so goddamn much in this show, and as we got towards the end I was like, I'm gonna have to minimalize some of my expectations here, because it was gonna have to be like a 2-hour finale for it to finish out with some things. And a lot of people are kind of, I think, unjustly angry with this show because they over analyze like every frame. But I was partially guilty of that, because I was sitting there like watching, I think it's like New Rock Stars has a really good show about super deep dives on like what these things mean and like, what does it mean? And I found myself getting like convinced of all these different theories. I don't know about you.
Right. No, 100%. But before we dive into it, because we're going to be on that topic for a minute. Okay. I'm curious to know, has there been anything else you've been watching aside from WandaVision?
Well, I recently kind of kept keeping with the Marvel thing, rewatched a lot of the MCU while WandaVision was coming out. Kind of just to keep brushed up on things and noticing different details and fun details and stuff. And I need to make a correction. Last podcast episode, I said Spider-Man Far From Home was like 11 months after this. It's only like 7.
7 months.
But it's not that big of a difference, but I thought I'd correct it in case anyone else catches it. But I watched that. I watched The Rundown. I don't know if you've ever watched that movie. I hadn't seen it in forever.
With The Rock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic, man.
It was hilarious. I forgot how funny that movie is.
And he looks so small there.
Yes, he's huge, but he's so small compared to how he is now.
Yeah, yes, now he's just like, dude.
He's a boulder now.
It's a real life Terminator, man. It's just like, before then I was like, oh, he's pretty big, but no.
Yeah,
because I was
watching that movie. I completely forgot Christopher Walken was in that movie. And the guy from American Pie, I forgot how funny he can be. It was just a blast. I recommend if you guys haven't seen that.
Yeah, man, there's so many people in that movie. Think about it.
Rosario Dawson was in there.
Rosario Dawson.
Mrs. Sokatano.
Also, I want to say the delivery kid from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. I don't think you've ever seen the live action.
I actually have, but it's been, again, an extremely long time since I watched those.
He's a smaller guy that's like kicking the Rock's ass in the movie.
Yeah. Oh,
that's him. Yeah, but he's a lot older now. Yeah.
Dude, that guy was like crazy ripped. I was like looking at him. I was like, holy shit! Like, that guy is the definition of cut. I don't think there was like an ounce of fat on him. But yeah, I watched that and I was really enjoying that. And then I also just kind of binge watched some classics. The first Jurassic Park, spared no expense on that, of course. And just enjoyed some of the tried and trues. I didn't experience anything too new.
You know what? I'm in the same boat as you. I honestly just been watching a lot of older stuff at the moment. Revisiting a couple older some shows that I've watched before. I rewatched You again. Just to see if maybe I had just to see if maybe my mind has changed on both seasons, but no, they're still the same. And also I watched Tom and Jerry.
Oh, the new one that hit theaters.
The new one that hit
HBO Max.
Theaters and HBO Max, yeah. And I thought it was pretty okay. It was entertaining for what it is.
Nice.
The thing that caught me off guard and I wasn't expecting is that they did the I'm assuming you've seen Roger Rabbit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they went the Roger Rabbit route where the cartoon characters are just in existence with the humans, where it's like normal. It's
kind of
like
like
a
Looney
normal
Tunes back in action, or like Space Jam as well.
Exactly.
Right.
Where it's just like it's normal. You know what I mean? So I like the route that they went with that, and it's pretty funny, man. I actually enjoyed it for what it was. I went in with zero expectations. I wanted to watch it with my son, and because he loves Tom and Jerry right now. I'm like,
oh, that's
what
great.
The heck? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? He likes the older cartoons, which I'm so happy about.
That's because they're great. I mean, it's hard to beat a classic.
He's just laughing because they're like trying to hit each other or run around. You know, I was just like, yes. But no, I had a good time watching it. I honestly think you guys should. If you haven't watched it yet, you guys want something to kind of just shut your brain off and just kind of chillax and relax and watch something funny. Check out Tom and Jerry.
Was it long, or was it kind of just like a quick?
No, honestly, it was a pretty good length. I want to say it's around an hour and 45 minutes or so.
Oh wow, because usually like the more like childish animated movies,
right? They're usually
they try
a lot
to
shorter,
about 90-ish or a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I also rewatched Sonic too. It's up on Hulu, and
nice.
yeah. Oh, I love Sonic, man. That was.
I can't wait till they do another one.
No, yes. I was pleased with it. Like again, my opinion hasn't changed for that. So
Jim Carrey in that movie was really funny. I always forget how funny it was.
Man.
And
I'm so happy how well it did, just because I know Jim Carrey is I think he stopped doing roles like that because maybe he just got tired of it or something.
I think
this was like the first role in a long time where he's brought out like
wild
full Jim Carrey. Yeah, you know what I mean? And it worked out so perfect, and I'm glad the fans are showing it support and love. But that's about it. Aside from all that, just been watching a lot of WandaVision and stuff.
Yeah.
But before we get into the WandaVision stuff, I definitely want to get into some news topics, because this is a perfect follow-up to Tom and Jerry.
All right, sounds good.
So earlier today, maybe roughly around 4 hours ago or so.
Okay.
Apparently people were clicking on Tom and Jerry to watch on HBO Max, right?
Right.
But instead, they got a surprise. Can you guess what that was?
No, I have no idea, no clue.
Zack Snyder's Justice League was leaked under Tom and Jerry's thing. So when people would click to watch Tom and Jerry, it would take them to Zack Snyder's Justice League. And apparently it got taken down 2 hours after it was already up.
So there's some people who have probably bootleg recordings and copies.
Yeah, probably, yeah. No, but it's a 4-hour movie, so I don't think they probably got to see the whole thing. Maybe some. I'm assuming, because I've been trying to keep up with this news. That people have skipped all the way to the end to see what the big cameo, because apparently there's a huge hint that there's a huge cameo at the very end of the movie, and people already know. So just in case. You guys,
hell.
I would suggest to start muting shit.
How do you mess that up?
Fucks up like that. Yeah, dude. I don't know how somebody fucks up.
That had to have been on purpose,
dude. What are the odds?
Can you imagine? That's too monumental of a f up.
Dad, can you put on Tom and Jerry? Zack Snyder.
I would have been like, what?
What? Son, go to your room. I'm watching this.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that is nuts, man. I thought this news was pretty crazy. But pretty much this is what was putting down on the article. It says Zack Snyder's Justice League was leaked on to HBO Max. When viewers tried to watch Tom and Jerry, the Snyder Cut would play instead. It has been taken down after almost 2 hours. So that is wild.
That is insane.
A huge fuck up. That is a huge fuck up.
Because you wouldn't. The hell is my cat doing? You wouldn't have that happen if you walked into a theater. So there's a point for the theater argument.
Right.
But that's absolutely insane. Because if I was into like super pirating movies and trying to get stuff spoiled everywhere and everything, I would have like called up a few friends and been like, look, I'm gonna cover like the first 30 minutes and get that recorded. You skip to 30 minutes and do until an hour. You skip to an hour and do, and like then we combine the recordings and release this massive, just full on spoiler thing, and then that would be like lickety split how it got all out. So I'm gonna play it real cautious and just say that the whole thing's been seen, and I will happily mute pretty much everything until I get a chance to see it.
I'm gonna say this right now, just because I'm like glancing over at Twitter right now.
Oh no!
And the dark side is trending, and I would suggest not clicking on that.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just letting you know right now.
Damn.
There's some huge spoiler pictures on here, and
by the time you guys see this or hear this,
but I will say this,
you may have already been exposed.
This is not like, I guess this is kind of subjective, but the fan reaction so far has been really good.
Well, that's a good sign, but I mean, if it's good, then you want to kind of see it when you see it.
Yeah, of course. But I'm just saying, like, because I know people are like, I wonder if it's gonna suck, if it's gonna be the same. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They have that kind of. I guess the fans are a little bit just divided at the moment because they're unsure.
I'm definitely unsure.
As of right now, it seems like people are very, very excited because there's a lot more stuff out there now. It seems.
Ooh, what if this was just like a marketing ploy?
Can you imagine? That'd be like the Sonic thing. That's a conspiracy, man. Because the whole Sonic thing with like how they purposely people think that they purposely messed them up just so the fans would react and talk about the movie. I mean, that may be some crazy stuff, but I don't know, man. I honestly,
that's what happened.
Nobody would ever know.
The concept animation of Deadpool, how that got leaked. That was on purpose by someone who wanted to make it. Ryan Reynolds, most likely.
Right. He's like, it got leaked.
Yeah. So it's not unheard of, but I mean, this level of a leak, I think that would be a really bold marketing move.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people could just get it for free.
That's what I'm saying, man. See, that's the part where I'm not convinced that it was on purpose.
Yeah.
And for the movies, like it'd be different if it got put up and you're able to click on the movie and then play it. But the fact that it was hidden underneath Tom and Jerry leads me to believe that it's not on purpose.
Yeah, but how do you do that? Like I don't
know, man.
That's insane.
That's somebody over at HBO Max really did fucked up.
Yeah, someone probably lost the job.
Really bad. But that's what's been going on today. People have been going crazy about it because like there's a whole bunch of leaks and some people actually got to see, I'm assuming half of it. And I'm assuming, skip to the very end to catch the last, like...
Well, this is going to be all over TikTok. Cameo. This is going to be all over Twitter.
Ooh, yes.
When does this come out?
We don't have to, this comes out this month, I believe, on the 26th or 25th or something like that.
Okay, I thought it was like 2 months out. I got my M's searched up.
It should be out this month for sure.
Okay.
Along with what's the other big movie that's coming out? Oh, Kong versus Godzilla.
Godzilla vs Kong. Yeah.
Yeah, they both come out. So we get Kong first.
Dude, this month is insane.
And then we get Zack Snyder's.
Because we're also getting Winter Soldier this month too.
Yeah, and then next month we get Mortal Kombat. Ooh.
Wow. Okay, we're back in it then. This is
awesome.
We're
back in the business, boys.
Yeah.
Poppin' podcast. Anyways, some lighter news. I know that was kind of a big one.
Okay.
The filming for Spider-Man: No Way Home is almost complete, from sources say.
What did you think of the title, by the way? I don't think we got a chance to talk about that.
No Way Home, huh?
What do you think that means?
Yeah, I don't know anymore, man. This one's kind of connected towards like WandaVision in a sense, because supposedly WandaVision is supposed to set up Doctor Strange and Spider-Man No Way Home, but without going into spoiler details here, it leaves me confused and lost, and I don't know how they're gonna set this up. Like I'm still confused. Like how are they gonna set up?
I was like, the hell is going on with their multi-name release? Yeah, I was so confused, and then
that was kind of funny.
I thought it worked.
At first, everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is the new title." We're like, "Wait, no,
Spider-Man Homewrecker."
Wait, what? Huh?
That was the one that killed me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I honestly I kind of like the name, and I like that you said that they're pretty close to start or to wrap up.
No, they're about to wrap up. Yeah,
awesome.
They're very close to ending it. So we'll see what happens there. I'm just excited, man, because we're supposed to get that this year, apparently. I think like later towards the end of the
holiday
year.
Season.
I would say maybe like November, October, from what I'm hearing.
When do you think we're gonna get a trailer?
It says this Christmas. I'm sorry. So I should have just read. It says this Christmas. So there you go. So I read this. Read, Jimmy.
Do you think we're gonna get a trailer at any point?
Maybe summertime.
You think late summer?
Yeah, I would say like July.
Okay. That's coming up too.
Yeah.
This year is flying by so much faster than last year.
But I feel like there's been more good news this year.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like last year was just like a huge depression ball, but like this year it's like, all right, cool. All right. Seems like people are starting to get a little bit, adapted to the situation.
More in their groove.
Yeah, exactly. Also one good thing that came out recently, which is Paramount Plus. And they dropped a whole bunch of bombs, man. We got the new Rugrats coming out soon. Also a new Halo series, which we've talked about before.
Yep.
We'll have the rights for that as well. Reno 911 will return. I used to love that show. That show was hilarious.
It was very funny.
Also this year, it's looking like A Quiet Place Part 2 is gonna go exclusively to Paramount Plus.
Cool.
Supposedly it's after it's been out in theaters for like a little bit.
Yeah, because that's dropping on Memorial Day, I think, is when he said it was going to drop.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work, considering the fact that movie theaters are still closed around me. So I don't think that's gonna be on there for too long.
Yeah, because I again, our situations are so different. Me being like the middle of nowhere, our theaters like, hey, just wear a mask and come on in. And like not a lot of people live around that theater, so it kind of works out to where everybody's pretty safe relatively.
Yeah.
And
but the fact that they're gonna get like exclusive right to A Quiet Place 2 is pretty crazy, man. Yeah. Because this is a movie that was supposed to be out early last year.
Yes.
Around this month.
In fact, that was the next movie after I think it was called, was it Bloodsport? Was the Vin Diesel one? Bloodsport? Bloodshot. That's it.
Yeah.
That movie, and then it was going to be Quiet Place that we got to go see and talk about, which I was so amped for, and then this whole thing started.
Yeah.
So we've been waiting. I at least have been waiting, like...
Of course, we had to review one of the shittiest movies, too, which was...
The Grudge?
Yeah, The Grudge.
That was so bad.
We couldn't get any of the good ones. It
was a good time to start a podcast, for sure.
Well, here we are now.
Yes.
And then also, Cobra Kai Season 4 has begun filming, so that's a big... win for me and all the Cobra Kai fans.
Yeah.
And aside from that, Paramount Plus is not that expensive too, which eventually prices are always going to shoot back up later on.
Yeah, like Disney Plus, I think just increased their cost, I think by $10 for the annual, as well as I think monthlies by $1.
Yeah, but which isn't too bad, but it's to be expected.
Yeah, and the amount of content that they're
the more content they start adding and more original content, it's just only they know that they can set the price up $1 more and then $1 more, and especially with the success of WandaVision, of course they're going to set it up for an extra $1.
Yeah, because
now people know what to expect in production quality from some of these Marvel shows that are going to be coming out soon, along with the Star Wars stuff too.
Right. I have a very interesting thought bubble for you. I was actually thinking about this since the last time we recorded, because I watched a video on YouTube about Disney and their history with trying to do a Disney vault with their content. And it was only because they got strong-armed and lost multiple lawsuits that they finally jumped on the VHS train. And then they kept re-releasing VHSs under the guise that, this is your last chance, right? And they've been sticking with that model up until Blu-ray. Now that they have a streaming platform that's on every device possible, that they technically have the content there, but you have to pay them money to be able to see it, do you think Blu-rays are done as far as Disney's content in the near future? That they would stop doing Blu-rays because they want to have the content behind a fee? That's what I'm afraid of, because I love having the physical copy of things.
Right.
What do you think?
I don't know, man. Yeah, that's interesting. I guess I'm already at that point where I don't really care so much about physical copies of stuff unless it's like older stuff.
Right.
Like, obviously like the original Disney cartoons like Little Mermaid, Aladdin, like those giant white covers, the big case ones.
Yeah.
Like, yes, absolutely. For like VHS, like those are collectibles. But I feel like anything after for like, from this era, I guess I should say, like, it's not a big deal for me to have physical or not. Like, I feel like I'm already past that point of owning physical copies of stuff. Okay. I just kind of like even for video games, like I'm not so much of a physical guy anymore.
The video game thing I kind of understand because it's a pain to have to take out the disc to play a game when you want to switch or whatever.
And now like even you owning a physical copy of a video game, you still have to install the game, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with like movies and stuff. Like I guess it's just the convenience of being able to just click and play instead of like, you know what I mean?
Because I still am like a huge advocate for it because of the fact that
of course. I mean, look,
if internet
behind
is
you.
Look. but the internet being down, like that happens sometimes where I'm at, and like the amount of times that it's come in handy to have this movie gallery, like Blockbuster wall.
I've had that happen to me before. Yes, you're right.
It's a save, and I just love it.
You are right.
And I'm very proud of having like a whole spread of like all the Star Wars or all the Marvel. So I would hate to see it, but I understand why they would do it too.
So that's the thing. I'm not against what you're saying. Like if they want to keep pushing out like physical copies of stuff, great, do it, because there is people like yourself that would still collect physical copies of film, shows, whatever it might be.
Right.
And also it has like special features that you won't find on streaming services, which I think is great because there's a lot of like either deleted scenes or special commentary or just like behind the scenes stuff that is exclusive to that said DVD or Blu-ray that you won't be able to see. Which I think that they should add.
Yeah, I know that
some of these streaming services, I think that'd be really cool, but I don't know how much of a hassle that would be.
Yeah, I know Disney Plus has a lot of like they call it extras. They have a lot of deleted scenes on there and different things. Which, I mean, I understand it. It's just kind of like another thing where I'm like, man, I'm going to potentially lose theaters. Don't make me lose this too. I love this stuff, but I get it. It's time with the changing with the times and stuff, I guess. But
yeah,
I'm interested to see what you guys think besides just me and Jimmy here.
Absolutely.
Like if you prefer physical media or if you prefer streaming, let us know because that's something that I'd be very interested to hear.
All right. Well, I think it's time that we get down to the nitty gritty, man.
All right.
Let's talk WandaVision, my friend.
Okay.
So, I kind of want to hear your overall opinion first on like going into the show and then how you feel after the show now. Just to try to tell me how you feel there first, and then we'll go into more in detail and then also go into the spoiler territory.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, just kind of like what were your expectations going into it, and then as you're watching it, you're like, whoa, is this something different or is this something that you really enjoyed? And then by the time it all ended, did it wrap up nicely for you? Do you just feel some type of way?
Okay. Going into it, again, I had heard from someone who did like lighting and rigging for the series that it was kind of a really wild ride, kind of mind-bendy, it's crazy. I heard reports that they had done like a crazy amount of visual effects shots. I think it was like even more than there was in the end game. So I think it was, how did it drop again? It was like the first 2 episodes at once, right?
Yeah. The first 2 decades, which was the 50s and 60s, I believe.
Yeah. So when that happened, I was already kind of like expecting it to get crazy, but then I was kind of underwhelmed at first because it was kind of like, oh, I guess it's a slow burn build up into it. And then by the end, I felt, as much as I liked it, I think in some parts it felt a little bit rushed. And so for me, it was kind of like well, I wish we hadn't done the 2 like really slower episodes at the beginning. We just stuck with one with that, and maybe we can get a more tail end episode in addition or something like that to help the pacing a little bit. But yeah, for me that was kind of how it was. It was like kind of a slow start, and then all of a sudden, oh, we're at the finish line. Like it was just like a real fast kind of conclusion for me. But
okay.
But I enjoyed it overall. I don't have too many things to gripe about overall. I'm a happy customer in the end for sure. I don't know. Do you disagree with any of that?
Okay. Well, I can tell you how I felt, like my experience.
Right.
So you guys can go back to like the previous, episodes of the podcast. I was really, really excited for the show just because going into it like a year before, already knowing that the show was already going to come out, I'm already thinking that this is going to be the show that introduces a lot of stuff in the future going forward.
Right.
Now, I think like when I started watching the show, I was loving it, man. I'm like, ooh, I'm digging the vibe. I'm getting some like creepy vibes. I'm getting some like, Black Mirror / Twilight Zone vibes here because like something bigger is going on. And as slowly like the curtain gets pulled away, you're just kind of like, ooh, okay. I'm digging this as we're going through this ride,
Yep.
And by the time we get to like the 9th episode, we're like, oh my God, like what is going to happen? Because like everybody is just theorizing, pinpointing things that like, could lead to something else and then supposed leaks. And I think that a lot of people, including myself, I am very guilty of this, caught up in the overhype and just, the theories and stuff. And it also didn't help that, I want to say, I don't want to say it's just the fans' faults, but some of the actors shouldn't have said certain things.
Who could you be talking about, Jimmy?
And I feel like maybe
did you not like his joke? Did you not find it funny?
Listen, Paul Bettany, look, man, like you gotta be playing with us like that, man. Like trust me, it was a funny joke. Now that I look back at it, I'm just like, man, it's
up his humor.
Yeah, it is his humor, and he felt bad too because he was on that morning show.
Yeah,
and he's just like, I didn't think it was gonna blow up like that, but he's just like, damn, because I don't think that the actors and the people that worked on the show really realized how big of a show it was gonna be. I think they were all confused at some point. That what is this show gonna be about, or where are we headed here? And then it ended up being such a huge thing, like
the snowball effect.
Was
insane.
Like this is how big of a show it was. I know to you guys it might not be a big deal, but like for me, anytime a Mandalorian episode came out, it took me maybe like roughly a minute or two to try to get it to play because people are trying to watch it all at once.
Right.
And the servers are just crashing and I can't watch it. Now with WandaVision, the last episode, it took me 20 minutes to even get the app to play the fucking show, dude. I was like, holy crap, everybody's trying to log in and watch. Like, that's how big of a thing the finale was. Every episode, it seems like the wait time was longer. I always had to do that, where I had to wait a couple minutes just to watch the show. And then by the time the final episode came out, I'm like, dude, 20 minutes, man. I couldn't get the freaking thing to play, or it would do the little Disney thing, and I'm like, cool. And then it would freeze.
I remember.
Like, oh my God.
I think it was one of the later episodes. I had messaged you, like, dude, that episode, and you're like, I'm watching it now, and you're like, I'll let you know when I'm done. And I was sitting there waiting for a while, and I was like, holy shit, how long did it take him to get it going?
Man. It was. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one because I was looking on Twitter and people were like, "Dude, like, why is Disney Plus being ghetto? I can't get in there." I'm just like, I'm the same, man. So it was a huge show, man, and also the fans overhyped a lot of these theories, and we're over here thinking it was going to be a bigger thing. And me, back in my mind, I'm thinking like, yeah, it should be a bigger thing because. Isn't this supposed to set up the future of where we're going to be going from here on out? And so that's what's going on in my mindset, right? And also with all the theories and people coming up with shit, I'm just like, whoa, that would be crazy. So by the time the final episode airs, holy fuck, like I felt very, very underwhelmed.
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
I felt like it was absolutely rushed. And I also felt borderline disrespected.
Well, there was one thing that happened that disrespect. This is a bit of a spoiler. I'm sorry, but it's the dick joke that
yes
actually made me mad. I almost got up from my chair.
I'm like, wait, that's why you brought this guy for? Like, that's why? That for a dick joke?
That was the thing. I didn't like, even if it was
that's
a stunt cast, but even as a stunt cast, I would have been like, I guess that's fine. They took it and then they pushed it over the line with the dick joke, and I was like, all right, now you're insulting me.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, so we're getting into spoiler territories here, guys. So
Sorry,
I apologize if you haven't finished watching the show, but we're gonna dive into a little bit of the spoiler stuff so that we can give you guys more context. So obviously, for those of you that are still listening or watching, you guys know that they introduced the Pietro, aka Peter Maximoff from the Fox universe, which is basically Quicksilver. And we were all, when that episode aired where he made the cameo, like, you know, before the Even Stevens one,
Twitter exploded.
Malcolm in the Middle, Twitter exploded, man. People are like, what? And they're like confused. They're like, is that really him from the Fox universe? And we're all hoping it was and stuff like that. And then even Marvel/Disney themselves kind of confirmed that it was him, because when you did that
descriptive
little audio description, it said, oh, it is Quicksilver from the Fox universe. It's like, wait, did it say Fox universe? Something like that, right?
I think it was the 20th Century Fox X-Men movies, or it said something like that. But I think in hindsight that may have just been to say, oh, it's the actor from that. Not necessarily that it was the character, but a lot of people took it that way.
Yes, we took it that way, including myself, because I'm like, okay, cool. Like, there's got to be something more to this thing. So, that means that somebody. Okay, so I'm telling you where my mindset is when that happened. I'm like, okay, so somebody had to have pulled them in from that universe and brought them into here, and that's how now the multiverse is gonna happen, and and then just so on and so on. Everybody's minds just started to race and explore different concepts or theories that could happen with this, and only for them to tell us at the last episode that was actually Agatha's husband, pretend husband, Ralph Boner. His last name Boner, Ralph Boner, and he's just some random kid. That's not actually Quicksilver.
So what you're telling me, Jimmy, is that you got hurt. You're a hurt person.
Absolutely. I felt disrespected.
I don't blame you.
They took me for a ride there, man.
Yeah, they did.
It was crazy. I don't know, like,
I honestly think that the only way that they can redeem themselves, or maybe they've already planned it out, is that this inevitably becomes that guy. But
of course, I mean, look, hear me out here, guys. I know there's still a possibility that it could still be him, right?
Right.
I'm just going off of that final episode, though. They left it. That is the last time we hear from him, is the fact that we find out that his name is actually Ralph Boner, and that's it. We never see him again in the episode later on. There's no like secret end credit scene where he comes out again. No, nothing. It's left that his name is just Ralph Boner. That's all you know. That's all you need to know. Yep. It's like, what? How does he have Quicksilver's powers? How did he get that? Did Agatha give it to him?
Right.
There was no explanation to any of that shit. It was just very confusing. We're left with more questions than answers, 100%. And that was the thing before the episode 9 was aired, the final episode. We were all wondering, I'm like, are they going to be able to answer all this shit in like 45 minutes?
Dude, I thought it was going to have to be a 2-hour finale.
Yeah, I thought maybe we're going to get like an hour and 30-minute finale episode, because there is a lot. And trust me, you are still going to feel very, very underwhelmed. And now we can get into, more detailed stuff here. I was so unsatisfied, underwhelmed with everything. Like the fight scenes, the witch stuff, like it just wasn't entertaining for me.
Right.
It was boring, dude. And the only thing I really enjoyed about this episode is the witch stuff, and like whenever she pulls her into like the Salem and the witches
goes
come
into
back.
Agatha's nightmare.
Yeah, Agatha's nightmare. Like, oh, that looked pretty cool. Like that was actually kind of creepy. And then also Paul Bettany when he goes up against White Vision, that dialogue exchange and also the fight sequence was really cool. I really did like that a lot.
The ship of Theseus.
Yeah, the only thing that was just kind of confusing, that's another question, is he just kind of fucking just takes off
dipped.
And we're just like,
yeah, he's
what?
just like I am
what?
Vision
like, that's
and away. Yeah.
It's literally what happened. And I'm just like, wait, what's going to happen here then? Like, that's interesting. Okay, whatever.
No, he's like, hey, your budget ran out. Woo! Like, it was a bit like that almost. Because, I didn't know where he went. I was like, why wouldn't he stick around? I don't understand that. But
yeah, so I think like there was just definitely more. There's still more questions than answers, and also like I'm saying, like the leaks kind of like fucked with me a bit, just because I think everybody was led to believe that even Doctor Strange, and this is probably like one of the oldest rumors / like
speculations,
leaks, supposed leaks, that he was gonna be making an appearance in the show, and he didn't make an appearance in the show.
He did in name only. Sorcerer Supreme. That's it.
Yeah. Somebody they brought him up, or Agatha brought him up, saying that Scarlet Witch, which is that she was technically going to be or is stronger than the Sorcerer Supreme, which is Doctor Strange. But I was led to believe that he was going to come in or something. I just never felt the level of threat from Agatha towards Wanda at all. Like the threat just was, I didn't feel no tension, if that makes any sense.
I think it's because in part it's because of this fan speculation, but also in part it's because the actress for Agatha did such a good job of not being a total unlikable dirtbag that was just evil, that she also came across as a bit of like a mentor, which is kind of accurate to how her character is in the comics eventually.
Right.
That I was kind of like not fully wanting to see her get her, like them fight too terribly. It felt very awkward.
It always felt, even from when you rewatch the show, it always felt as if Agatha was just a side villain. Never a main villain.
Right.
You never get that feel that she is a main villain.
Right.
Even after the big reveal where it's like, oh, it's Agatha all along. Even when that stuff pops out, you still don't feel like she is a main villain. You're like, no, there's got to be somebody else she's working for. Like, it has to be Mephisto. It has to be this, like Nightmare or whoever.
Yeah.
Or Grim Reaper. And it's just all these other,
big
villains. We're just thinking, and then only to realize, no, that it's just her.
Yeah,
I kind of honestly left like, really, her motive is just because she wants Wanda's power, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, here, okay.
Like,
I'm still holding on.
I was very unhappy.
Yeah, I'm still holding on. As desperate as it seems, like this, just holding on to the coattails, praying on my knees here. I still think we're gonna get Mephisto down the line. I do, because
you might be right.
Why would she want his power? Like, why would she want Wanda's power, if not to use something like chaos magic, which we've seen means bringing things into reality, like. It's very much played off of the House of M comic book, everything but that detail. She even has the Darkhold, and there's like, you're gonna do devil stuff and all this other thing, only for the really surprise double end credits scene, and you hear the kids again even after they're gone. I'm thinking like this has to lead somewhere like more. I think it's a shame that it ends up being kind of like a setup series rather than its own thing. But I've also heard the argument that this series of WandaVision is a full series and a full story if you're only viewing it as Wanda experiencing her grief. Because as a character, she never got to go through the 5-year gap where all the other Avengers were down with grief. She never got to go through that. Like, Thor got fat, drunk. He didn't want to do anything with his grief. Wanda, she never got a moment of grief. She saw him die. She got dusted. whoop, I'm back. It's 5 years later. We got to go fight. She gets to hit Thanos a bit, and then she's at a funeral for Tony. Like, this is how she's processing it. And from that perspective, the stages of grief and everything, it does feel like a complete show. But we can't wholly, divorce it from our expectations when this was happening all at once. For someone seeing this like a year from now, they won't have those expectations or that build up, that hype. And so for them, it's probably going to be great. But for those who are fresh off the experience of like group theory, group think, group hype, it was quite underwhelming in that regard. But
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I just, like I said, it's obviously the fans' fault in terms of just like, yeah, we got overhyped. We overhyped each other by like agreeing with each other's theories of what was going to happen. And everybody, we definitely got overhyped. But it also was I felt like it was a slap in the face to bring that specific actor as that specific role.
Evan Peters.
Only to just pretty much just slap us and be like, nah, just playing.
Dick joke.
His name is just, Ralph Boner. Ha ha ha. Like, no, come on now. Like,
yeah, I didn't like that.
Please. Like,
that would be like getting a guy who looks like he's wearing Boba Fett's armor and he takes it off and it's Jar Jar.
Yeah. Exactly. He sounds like Boba, but it's not.
Can you imagine the rage? Like that's the kind of slap in the face it was. It was just like okay, all right, Kevin.
What?
Feige, I see you.
It just, like I said, I'll still keep the hope, and I'm still gonna watch the Marvel shows,
of course,
and the movies.
They got us by the balls, man. We can't not.
Exactly. I was rooting for the show that I really wanted them to knock it out the park, dude. Yep. Except that they think of it this way, right? I hate to use sports as an analogy, but
it's fun.
They pretty much got all the way down to third base, and all they had to do was just bring it home. That's it. Bring it home. And they ended up getting fucking tagged right at the end, dude. Just because they just could not wrap it up properly. It felt so rushed, man. Like, I felt like everything was just happening, boom, boom, boom. And they were giving us like quick answers instead of like proper, like, okay, this is who this person is. This is how this happened. But it's more so it's just like, boom, okay, here's that. Okay, here's that. I
100% agree with like the scenes with Monica and Pietro or Pietro. That like the scenes where they cut to them, it just seemed like last minute additions. They're like, oh shit, we forgot about this character. It absolutely felt that way. I honestly, okay, I want to break it down, and you go with me on this. Hopefully, let's break it down. As far as the gimmick of the show, right? Of it being a TV series and kind of wild, and that being revealed as Wanda's coping mechanism through various times in her life was to watch sitcoms. Do you think that kind of justified how the show was doing a sitcom thing? Or did you feel like some people I've seen on Twitter where they were like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would she do this? That doesn't work with me. Did you feel like it worked with you?
No. I think the show. Let me go ahead and, because I'm probably looking more like a grumpy old fan that just didn't get theories or whatever. Let me clear this up, right? I enjoyed the show for what it was still, regardless.
Right.
I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the acting was great.
Yes.
I thought they all did incredible. Even Timmy and Tommy, like they're both characters.
They surprised me.
Those kids did great. Everyone was on point. It's just the overall rapping and answering the questions. They kept giving us questions, or we had more questions than them giving us answers.
Sure.
It's just what kind of just like what? Like, it left me very unsatisfied.
Right.
But as far as story aspect goes and how that laid out and, got revealed that the whole purpose of the show or the, theme shows or whatever TV shows, that was fine with me. I was totally okay with that because the way I understood it, right? My point of view was that was pretty much her happy place.
Yeah.
Was just remembering those TV shows where that was just her place where she remembered watching these shows with her family.
That was her island in the sea.
And that was just her like own getaway of just like being able to relax and just kind of just like get away from all the grief and pain and shit that we all kind of go through ourselves. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, you're having a rough week and finally a movie drops that you're really, really excited for. And then you're just kind of like, you just get away for a minute.
Latch onto it.
That's how I got her perspective from it. It was just the fact that she was going through so much shit, dude. And then eventually she wanted to do something for herself because she felt like you're right. Like she didn't get to grieve or anything like that. And that was just, she was just so, wanted to she wanted some happiness. And for what she got from all that was the fact that like she remembers the shows. So that all kind of happened that way.
Yeah, that touched my soul. Like that whole episode, I think that was episode 8, where it went through like kind of her history and everything. And there was that really cool line about like, what is grief if not love persevering? And like, there was these moments throughout that right now, I don't want to get into too many specifics. I'm going through a lot in my life with family, loss, grief, high tension moments, a lot of worrying, all this other stuff. And this kind of hit me like at the right moment. And that line and that whole episode really kind of got to me. And it is silly and it is stupid because it is just like a show thing, but at the same time, it's not, because I really needed to hear that. And it was really touching. And from the perspective of the show being specifically about Wanda's grief and her processing that and kind of coming out of that on the other end, I really actually liked it. I also really liked the series because it was, in a way, kind of like, this is going to seem extreme, like the movie Joker, in that we are siding with someone who is technically the villain. Like, Wanda is being a villain. Like, Hayward, he eventually shot at some children. But overall, he's a government guy trying to do government-y things. He's a dick, but he's not technically a villain. Wanda kidnapped a whole town and is like puppeting them and keeping them from their children, and they're begging her constantly to let them go, and she's full on like, no, I don't care.
But I think us as an audience, we know that she isn't a bad person because we've seen her be good. She's saved her friends and she's just trying to fight against evil.
Right. So that's the brilliant part of it, though.
See, and then now she's like bad because like she's being selfish.
Yeah.
Like essentially she's just selfish, And so we're sympathetic towards her because of that. Because we're like, okay, she's not bad, but she's doing bad shit right now. But we promise you, she's not bad.
Right.
That's our mindset, But with like the Joker thing, like I obviously we know that he's bad through and through, but like he goes through some shit that kind of just triggers him to be worse.
In that movie, I was like cheering for him being evil. I was like, what am I doing? But I sided with him like throughout the whole thing. And that's kind of how I felt with Wanda up until near the very end, where all the people are like, can I please see my daughter or my son? And I was like, oh yeah, she's bad. I forgot in this moment she's not doing a good thing. Whoops. Like, I was kind of like, I wanted to know, on the topic of kind of like the finale and everything, did you like her final costume as much as I did? Because I thought it looked rad.
I just want to say she looked fucking gorgeous, dude.
Yeah.
Hands down. Like the whole, that's probably one of my favorite costumes in terms of the Marvel, like
the MCU
up to date now. Yes, so the MCU, like that looks so good, dude.
Yeah.
Hers, obviously Star-Lord and Iron Man, top 3. Spider-Man, for some reason, dude, I think it's okay. Like, I don't think it's the best, just because I'm such a Sam Raimi fan of that spider suit.
That's so hard to top.
You know what I mean? That one's so flawless. But I feel like Scarlet Witch right now is probably number 1 now for me. Iron Man, and then Star-Lord. Like those 3, like those suits look so good, dude.
Yes, they do.
But that Scarlet Witch one, I was like, wow, dude. Yes.
I didn't expect that to look that good. I was like, wow, this looks awesome.
Great, man. And she looked incredible too,
She looked intimidating.
Like
I was like, okay.
I mean, the whole show, she was pretty intimidating me, because you're like, oh, She can lose her shit at any moment. You know, throw your ass out.
That's true.
But yeah, overall, I kind of want to get into, you know, what you would call it, like the rating. Like, yeah, let's get into the rating here. What do you think? Like, what would you give it?
Careful consideration. I think, honestly, with time, it will be better. This close after a finale, I say it barely skirts into the buttered for me. I think it's very lightly buttered at the moment, just because of how that finale felt. But the longer I think about it, the longer I sit with it, the more buttered it will be. It will never be like gold bucket for me by any means. But
I feel like
it's definitely yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that too. I am definitely with him as well. So a 4 out of 5 for me as well, where it's sputtered but not perfect, just because of the way the finale just felt rushed. I felt like the episode was a little longer and they explained a little bit more too. That would have been great. But our ratings can definitely change just for the simple fact, if it starts off with Wanda and then Spider-Man 3 and then Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange. Since they're all supposedly connected to each other,
there's some payoffs on the way.
There could be a payoff to where it makes all these shows / movies
bump up
worth
a bit
it in the end.
Yeah.
Worth it in the end, to the point where it's just like, oh my God, let me go back and watch WandaVision and then go, you know, all the way
through.
And
it all click together and you'd be like, whoa.
Yes. It's just like one giant thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, think of WandaVision. Hopefully, like, I don't know yet, right?
We're hoping.
Nobody knows.
Disclaimer.
Think of WandaVision as the first Iron Man movie.
Right.
For this decade, like starting now. Because when Iron Man 1 came out, we're like, holy shit. And then that end sequence scene where my man Nick Fury comes in, we're like, oh my God, are they going to set up the Avengers?
No, you're in a bigger part of a universe. You just don't know it yet.
Slowly did it. Year after year after year, movies all connected. They all eventually connect to the Avengers. And then later on, we get another Avengers movie. And then all the way up until Endgame. Now, we're already past Endgame. So our expectations are definitely high. We're up the roof. Like, could they really top Thanos? Could they really top the Avengers Assemble sequence? Like,
it'll take time.
Expectations are up the roof. Yes.
Yeah.
So right now, that's where I'm like at in terms of like, you know, watching WandaVision. Right. I feel like that is the setup. That is definitely the setup. That is the Iron Man 1 for this decade.
Sure.
And it'll eventually lead up to something much more.
Okay. I agree.
So I'm hoping
that's
and eventually that my rating for this show is going to go up to a 5.
Wow.
The golden bucket.
That'd be cool.
But for now, I'll definitely give it a 4.
Yeah.
And like I said, overall, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I was excited. Even in the past episodes that we recorded, I was super, super excited about it. And even just thinking about it now, like even with the okay ending of the show, thinking about the show, like how it made me feel every week waiting for the next episode.
Yeah.
They did an incredible job of us making us feel that way.
For sure.
But yeah, that's about it.
And now we have more Marvel coming like every week.
Yes. Winter Soldier's coming out. We will be reviewing episodes.
Yes.
Hopefully week by week. If not, sometimes we'll miss a weekend, but we'll do the next week. We'll cover both episodes, and then also new movies such as Zack Snyder's Justice League and Kong versus Godzilla. We'll definitely get into some our thoughts and give you guys our review.
Yeah, we'll have a debate. We'll be talking about who was better.
Obviously, Kong is gonna be the better one. You know,
Team Godzilla. I'm sorry, I have to.
Yeah, whatever.
For content, man. I'm just kidding.
You're definitely a Ralph Boner fan. I'll tell you that.
Wow.
But I think that's it for this episode, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Please do us a huge favor. Share, like, retweet on our Twitter at What's Poppin' Pod. You can follow That's Twitter over there. And also, please go subscribe to the YouTube channel if you guys are listening to this on Spotify. And if you guys are not listening to us on Spotify, you're watching on YouTube, go follow us on Spotify, because that way you can just hear the audio only if you're at work or whatever.
Yep.
Thank you so very much for still hanging in there, supporting us, and hopefully to more content. And we'll see you guys soon. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Tim.
We'll catch you guys on the next episode of What's Poppin' Podcast.